before I really start off this video, I would like to recommend that anybody who is watching this click off and play through the Goddess Fall story, because there's going to be a lot of spoilers that I'm going to be talking about. So, spoiler warning, if you are wanting to play through Goddess Fall, please pause the video, go play through it, and then come back here and talk about it. Because, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with Goddess Fall. And then, of course, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this video, like, comment, subscribe, check out Gamersubs, use code Tystra for 10% off of your purchase. Yeah, guys, Goddess Fall, Goddess of Victory Nikke, was an absolute treat. And it's a treat in a lot of ways. I was telling my friends, I compared it to Avengers Endgame because of all the stars that were in this whole thing. However, I would like to take that back. I don't think it's Avengers Endgame. I think it's Avengers Infinity War. Because just how many deaths and pseudo deaths that happened, it's really insane what actually happened with this. With the ending video, there was so many of my CC friends and friends in general that were playing it because they just wanted to really get into it, and it was just this insane experience. And a lot of people were upset. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, this story was great." And they weren't upset at the story itself. They were upset about characters dying or pseudo dying. For those who don't know, Goddess Fall, I'm going to give a very quick synopsis of what it is. Goddess Fall revolves around the queen descending to Earth. And basically, Eden is the protector in this story. They're trying to make sure that nothing happens to where... not that nothing happens. They want to destroy the queen. So they're trying to destroy the queen, as well as the kingdom, and the pioneers are a part of this as well. So it's really crazy. And then there's also a lot of subplots, which were really, really cool. We saw a lot of appearances from characters that I never thought were actually going to be a part of the story, and either confirmed or raised more questions. So I kind of want to try and go through as many of the subplots as I possibly can. So first things first, let's talk about Modernia's part, because Modernia is one of those characters that I absolutely love. I've loved the whole concept of what happened, and of course, Modernia / Marion was the first character we saw in Goddess of Victory Nikke when we first started. So if you don't know, in the Kingdom story, there was this whole thing about Modernia becoming the second queen at the end of the whole story, the hard mode, after credit scene, if you want to call it. And she became a new queen. It's confirmed that it is the queen gene that she has awakened inside herself, and that's why she has 002 on her, right? So the queen is 001, Modernia is 002. Now, because of everything, we find out that Indivilia and Chatterbox were really just following Modernia's orders to basically bring her closer to the queen so that the queen can use her as a new vessel. Modernia, being a new queen, wanted Raptures, humans, and Nikkes to all live in harmony, which is actually good, and it really brings out how she is as a character. Ultimately, Indivilia and Chatterbox betray her after the queen kind of does her new queen roar thing or queen activation thing. And yeah, basically Indivilia betrays her, beats her to a bloody pulp. Modernia comes back after talking with Nayuta, and Nayuta Nayuta deduced that Modernia is a new queen. And Nayuta has her own agenda as well. I was kind of not understanding that part of the subplot entirely, I won't lie. But Nayuta basically says, if you are the new queen, you can't hide it, because Modernia was so scared to tell the pioneers about her being a new queen or Eden. So at the end, well, near the end of this, Modernia comes out to the pioneers and says, I am the Rapture Queen. I am a brand new queen. I want this place to live in harmony and blah, 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 blah. And this is the one gripe I think I really, really had with this storyline. I thought that there'd be at least a little bit of pushback from the pioneers about it, because their whole thing is about defeating the queen, for the sake of humanity. But it was a little too goody two shoes, if you get what I'm saying, right? But at the same time, I didn't really get too mad about that, because again, they were together for so long. They helped Modernia, right? So it was a really nice touching moment, but at the same time, like I wish there would have been a little bit of conflict in regards to like what was going on. But of course, they didn't have a lot of time to really like fester with that because of the fact that the queen was raining down hellfire, right? So there was that, and that subplot was pretty cool. At the end, obviously, Modernia is I think at that time she's heavily damaged, so we'll see how that goes going into the next set or the next phase of Goddess of Victory Nikke. I think they're gonna make a new Modernia model, or they're gonna upgrade her, you know, as they usually do, especially now with what we know. Another subplot is Rose and Mirror, aka Red Shoes, and I really wanted to talk about this because it brought up so many questions. Like, how did Rose survive? Really, like they may have explained it, but I didn't really see it. I was probably too in shock to see Rose, because again, Rose and Scarlet at the end of Scarlet's New Year's thing, Scarlet killed Rose, or at least that's what we thought, and now, you know, Rose is alive, and also with a blindfold. So, or not blindfold, but a rose actually like covering her eye. Red Shoes being Mirror is also very questionable, and it kind of brings a lot of questions because the only thing that we know about mirrors is with Cinderella's second anniversary story, and she would always be talking to the mirror, and this was after, you know, Red Shoes had infected her with, you know, the rapture gene. So Cinderella, maybe Red Shoes was always that mirror. I don't know. It's very questionable, but it again, it just brings up those questions like, how did Red Shoes become the mirror? Maybe instead of it just being the rapture gene, maybe she infected her with some sort of thing that consists of some of Red Shoes' consciousness or something like that. But Red Shoes was very smart. Like, she was able to deduce why the queen didn't descend quickly. She was scared of Modernia, or scared that Cinderella was around the whole time, because the queen is actually scared of Cinderella, which leads me to believe, right, that the next time that, you know, the queen sees Cinderella, that's going to be an epic battle, and I can't wait to see it. Part of me, and let me cook a little bit, right? Cinderella is still considered a heretic, I guess, in that regard, right? Because she was controlled for a while and then was, you know, brought back to her senses. She was controlled by the queen. What if Cinderella awakens the third or a second queen gene, right? What if she becomes the third queen? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just me like thinking like out craziness, but if Modernia awakened the queen gene so quickly and Cinderella was in like hypostasis for so long, what if Cinderella awakens a queen gene? That's just something to think about. It's something to think about. I don't know. But the whole mirror thing was what really got me. I like that. I like that there's a little bit of mystery still with it. And Nayuta's known about them for a while. Nayuta has partnered with them multiple times, and Red Shoe's whole agenda is to basically manipulate Modernia. So she wants to be friendly with Modernia and like try to manipulate her into causing chaos. Like, Red Shoes is still evil. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm happy to see Red Shoes because Red Shoes was such a polarizing character during the second anniversary. However, she's still evil. Now, I don't know what it pertains to Rose, if Rose is going to be like technically an evil character as well. I know that she just wanted to kill the humans that were basically, you know, destroying her comrades, but there's so many questions. There's so many questions in regards to that. So that subplot had more questions than anything else, but I loved it regardless, right? Then we have the entire kingdom. Obviously, we had Crown, Chime, Talos, and Kilo versus Indivilia, and it was pretty insane. Like, the Naked King thing was not actually happening for Crown because she didn't get enough alpha particles for her power, right? So the whole time, Crown is fighting Indivilia as best she can with Chime, but Indivilia is very smart, so Indivilia was targeting Chime the entire time, and while on, I think it was like off of horseback, but I could be wrong, or no, it was on horseback, I'm pretty sure. Basically, Indivilia, like, cuts through Crown, and Crown is like damaged. If I remember correctly, she's cut in half. And Chime has this like I think Chime had a lot of character development in this, and it's not to say I like Chime. I'm still not a fan of Chime, but I did love the fact that she had a lot of character development. More on character development here in a bit. But Chime basically took Crown towards Nayuta and Rapunzel to get healed, and Crown gives her like the little bit of alpha particles she had to be able to turn into the Naked King. So there's this one moment where you literally see Chime get up and she's going to throw a punch, and then she turns into the Naked King and basically beats Indivilia. Now, I have my thoughts on this because it's like the whole, you know, Deku eat my hair and you get superpowers thing. And I have no problem with it. I think it was cool. But I didn't want to see naked Chime. I didn't want to see that. I'm sorry. But it was still a cool little moment, right? Like if you take out the whole aspect of what you saw, it was a cool moment of redemption for Chime, and she did it for her king. So I really did enjoy that part. Also, side note with the Modernia aspect, there was a little like small nod where Kilo and Talos are like, can we become your first subordinate for your new world? Because, you know, Modernia is trying to make a new world. And I thought that was a really little cool thing for that. So anyways, so that subplot was pretty good, obviously. Now for the Nayuta and Nihilister subplot. And Nihilister had huge character development here. And you really get to understand that Nihilister never truly, like, at least from what I've seen, never truly hated humanity. I think that she was just dealt a bad hand and then was trying to find a way to destroy the queen, because I think that she truly knew what was going on. Maybe I'm the crazy one in believing in crazy big boobed dragon mama. But not the whole time, the majority of the story, Nihilister is powerless. She's not able to do anything. And the costume that she had was really cool. I hope that they actually released that costume because that was sick. But then at one point, after beating Indivilia, Nayuta offers Indivilia to Nihilister, and it's just like, go ahead and eat. If you're going to betray me afterwards, that's your choice, but go ahead and eat. Nihilister eats Indivilia and gets her full power back. So Indivilia's gone. Dunzo, right? So she's like, all right, bet. That's cool. And then that subplot is kind of like done with for the time being until we get to the main story, which we're going to start. The main part of this story was absolutely insane. Just the Eden trying to defend against everything that's going on. First one to go was Noah, and I hate Noah, but Noah had such character development. Noah's a badass when it comes to defense, and I wasn't expecting her to like hold off the beam by herself, but then you realize that her core overloaded, it's gone, and she was just charred in the front of her body, and she just collapses, right? And that's, I think, yeah, that was near the end of part 1. So, like, you finally realize, like, oh, shit, people are gonna, or Nikkes are gonna die. And I guess thankfully, yeah, for the Noah fans. Noah is okay. Her brain is good. It's just that her core died out for the body that she had. And, yeah, it's pretty crazy how that all worked out, right? And then they came up with this plan to where they needed to separate the space station from the queen. Because the space station that the queen was originally in, that Cinderella the space station, the space station that the queen is in, was connected to the elevator, and the elevator connection was destroyed. So now they had to separate the actual like spaceship from the queen. So what ends up happening is that after scouting, Isabel takes Haran, and they're dodging as much of the red beams as they can, but ultimately Isabel gets basically cut down. She lost like limbs, and then Haran had to be launched. And at that point, she goes through this whole thing of talking about the commander, not Johan, but the commander. And you could tell with that, like, there was actual love based in this. And Isabel was just like, I don't know. I love Isabel. She's one of my favorite Nikkes. I totally love crazy women. But it was just this very crazy moment of like watching her die. She just gets blasted to oblivion. She's not coming back. She is gone. Like her brain is done. Like the red beams completely annihilated her. So that was the first, well, the first actual death of Eden and the first death of Inherent Squad. And man, I was like, fuck, that was crazy. And I got really sad because it was just this moment of like clarity that she's not coming back. She did have a little moment with uh Scarlet and then Papillon, which we got to talk about Papillon's character development too. Where Scarlet was talking about like, when you get back, we're gonna have a drink because we're gonna win. And Isabel's like, yeah, we'll have that drink. That drink never happened. Yeah, and Papillon gets basically relieved by Isabel. Like, she's like, here's the route to get home. Go to the Ark. Be safe. Don't worry about us. And like I said, Papillon's like character development of trying to help out and everything. Like, you could tell that she's getting past the whole spy thing. She goes insane as she's leaving Eden to try and like get to the Ark. And she's like, I must be crazy. I have to be crazy. And then turns around and heads right back, right? It was such a cool little moment for Papillon. It gave me a little bit of respect for her because I'm not a fan of Papillon, I'll be honest, but it is seeing the storyline. I was like, okay, I see the glimpses of what's happening with Papillon. As we continue on, Haran gets on the spaceship and then is able to separate the ship from the Queen. And there's this very touching moment on the comms between Haran and Johan. And she's like, was the mission successful? And Johan's like, yes, mission complete. You can rest now. And then Haran just disintegrates. It was such a beautiful moment. Like, it sucks because Haran is another very good character and she's just gone now. Like, she's completely gone. Brain, core, everything. So that's 2 deaths of Inherit Squad. So the only one in Inherit left is Noah. And it's going to be crazy when she awakens and finds out that both of them are gone. It was a very sad moment because I wasn't expecting both Isabel and Haran to die. But I was like, wow, that was crazy. And a lot of Twitter has been upset about it, but the story is just beautiful. It made a lot of sense towards the story. Whew. So Queen separated, and now it's the Pioneers to fight the Queen, which they're holding their own, right? They're holding their own as best they can, but remember, Nihilister is now revived fully. So what happens? Well, before Nayuta found Indivilia Nihilister, Johan gave her a Valpaus bullet, right? So Nayuta gives it to Nihilister and says, do what you need to do. And Nihilister puts the bullet in her mouth, and in such a cool freaking scene, bro. Oh my god. She has the bullet in her mouth and she's like, mother! And just charges in, bites down on the bullet. The Valpaus is in her mouth, and she plummets into the Queen, destroying her, basically. And then, of course, the Pioneers have to, like, finish her off and stuff like that. But, oh my god, that moment was so fucking cool and made me love Nihilister. She is dope now. Like, oh my goodness. Like, it was a great redemption arc for her because, again, like, the whole time she's trying to, like, make it so that before this, Liberalio didn't find Eden. But she's like, oh, I gotta do something. But she also doesn't want to put out there that she's wanting to kill the Queen. So, oh my god, it was such a beautiful moment. But Nihilister is gone now. Nihilister's dead. So that's 3 Nikke / heretics that are, well, 4 if you count Indivilia as well. Chatterbox also dies. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. Like, Chatterbox is dead. Like, he's gone. But the last little moment, and this is where the actual, like, video came in, was, well, actually, let's look at it and talk about it. I want to watch it again. Now, again, I really want to preface this that this is going to be major spoilers, but this is the ending video for Goddess of Victory, Goddess Fall. Man, I am gonna be, yeah. Let's just watch it. This is the final battle between the Pioneers and the Queen. Now again, bear in mind, this is just after Nihilister had charged into the Queen. And the Queen is insanely, like, gorgeous looking, by the way. I'm just gonna point that out. Like, it's dark imagery, but it's gorgeous. I'd still smash. And then in comes Nayuta. This moment is so cool as well. I love it. Oh my god. I just want to point out, like, for stuff like this, I get choked up like crazy. When a story is, like, so powerful, I love it. By the way, Nayuta is gorgeous in this form. I love the fact that all three of them are there, but Rapunzel's the only one that's still down. That's such an insane, like, thing. I love it. It really puts into effect how gorgeous Nayuta is. Garden of Shangri-La, and they're just doing what they can. Nayuta is doing what she can to make sure that they have the opening. Oh my god, it's so good. I'm, like, already choked up as it is. Like, I'm trying so hard to keep myself from, like, going, oh god. Oh my god, so... To me, when I saw this, when I saw that, I was like, it is so fitting to have Scarlet be the one to cut the head. And the only reason why I say that is because she always wanted to be as powerful as Lilith, and Lilith was the one that was just, well, not destroyed, but basically she got ended by the Queen. I don't know if it was directly by the Queen. I can't remember. But I do know that Lilith died trying to go after the Queen, and she was the only one that could have. And Scarlet always looked up to her. So, like, to me, I felt like this was, like, so fitting. But this isn't the end, as we'll find out. It's such a feel-good moment. Everyone is just so happy until you realize the implications of what just happened. Because Nihilister used Vaphaus, which got rid of the nymph of the body that was hidden within her body. And you think everything is... Oh my god. I freaked out when I saw this because I was like, oh my god, Lillywise is back. And then... Oh my god. Lilith is back. But it's not who you think it is. It's the damn Queen. Oh my god, bro. Well, watching this again is insane. This is the third time I watched it. And Lilith just absolutely destroys everyone. This is the most gruesome part right here. That in of itself is absolutely... Here, I'll move my freaking thing. Her body, decapitated, goes across the building, and you just see her head. That was insanely gruesome when I first saw this. And then Nayuta tries her best. I think Nayuta is technically like the most powerful of the 4 pioneers. And it didn't even phase Lilywise. Or, at this point, the queen. The most powerful Nikke that could have actually destroyed the queen is now in possession of the queen. And it's just so insane. Don't mind the weird people. So what does this mean? The queen has taken over Lilywise's body because, as I said, Nihilister used the Vaphaus while Lilith's body was still inside her. Think about this. If she let go of Lilith's body from within her and then used the Vaphaus, the queen would have been dead. The queen would have been done and everything would have been hunky-dory. But it is solely the fact that Nihilister forgot that Lilith was still there. Honestly, bravo. Such a way to keep the story going. Like, honestly, it might even be that Nihilister didn't forget. Maybe Nihilister did this on purpose. It was like, give me the Vaphaus and I'll destroy the queen. And she's like, but I'm not actually destroying the queen. It feels as though that it was just forgotten, to be honest, because Nihilister has been known to forget stuff. And, or not forget stuff, but be very, nonchalant wouldn't be the word. I guess more so just doesn't care to think about stuff and just went in thinking that she was going to destroy the queen, but didn't realize that doing so would actually destroy the nymph in Lilywise's body or mind, which in turn would give Queen the access to get into Lilywise's body. Such a beautiful thing. At the end of all this, all 3 of the pioneers were able to be salvaged. None of their brains were destroyed, and everything was hunky-dory for the most part there. We find out that Eden had been preparing some things for the pioneers, which basically confirms that the pioneers are all getting upgrades. And I think that was a great way to show, like, hey, they're going to be upgraded and you're going to want to get them. They're probably going to be on the same power level as them. And then Papillon, or no, not Papillon, sorry. Dorothy shows up because she was called and told, like, get over here now by Papillon, saying, you need to get over here. Eden is falling and you need to be here to help. Dorothy and the new Lilywise queen have an interaction where Dorothy shoots and Lilywise queen actually got damaged by it. So what does this mean? Well, I think Dorothy has the ability to damage Lilywise. Dorothy is probably one of the more powerful Nikkes out there. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility that she's able to actually damage the queen. However, after that interaction, the queen leaves. The queen is gone. Nowhere to be seen again. Honestly, the story was beautiful. And a lot of other things too. Like, I forgot to talk about this really quick before because I'm going on 30 minutes of talking about this. And I didn't expect it to be this long. There's a moment where after everything happens with Lilywise, like Snow White is being taken and they're talking about, you know, yes, we got the upgrades. And she's like, what do you remember? And Snow White goes, I remember everything. And she now remembers Lilywise and now remembers Red Hood as well. And I think that's going to awaken something in all 3 of the pioneers. It's just, it's going to be beautiful when they come back up. So many things that are just going to tie up together in side stories, which will culminate in whatever the next major story is for, like, either 3.5 anniversary or 4th anniversary. And I can't wait. The story was so good. This was probably my favorite story thus far. Lilywise is back, not in the way that I wanted though, so I'm pretty upset about that. Now this is also without looking at the campaign story because I have not been able to find time to play it yet. I just wanted to get through Goddess Fall, so throughout this week I will be playing through the campaign story on my own, and I will probably end up talking about it in another video because I really want to get into more of talking about the story of Goddess of Victory Nikke. It is probably the best gacha game story right now, in my personal opinion. I think it doesn't get enough love. It really doesn't. So like, comment, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Let me know what you think about Goddess of Victory Nikke's new Goddess Fall story, and I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. That being said, everybody, thank you so much. Love you guys to death. And as always, we will catch you in that next video. Please take care and be safe.